What's going on, guys? I have another knife I want to review for you. This is one of those videos that got deleted, so I'm remaking it right now, but it's a cool knife, so I don't mind talking about it again. Hopefully it's the last time. I like talking knives, but I want to talk the same thing about the same knife over and over. So hopefully I managed to get this to the computer and on the internet with no problem. But anyway, if you're watching it, obviously it works, so I don't even know why I mentioned it. So what we're looking at here is a 6-bladed Stockman from Rough Rider. That's the maker of this knife, and it's part of the Jim Bowie series. And it's commemorating, of course, Jim Bowie up here in the left, and of course the original American Bowie design. Now, I'm saying Bowie, some people said Bowie, tomato, tomato, even though I feel tomato is the wrong way to say it. That's, of course, a biased opinion. And you know me with my water, so I really can't speak for speech. Either way, we all know what we're talking about here. What really attracted me to this knife, besides being a 6-bladed Stockman, which of course I collect, there's 2 slip joint patterns that I've been interested in, and really just looking at all the different patterns. I like a lot of different slip joints, but I really wanted to narrow down my search for specific types of patterns and just go with all different variety of those patterns. And of course, one of them is a 6 or more bladed Stockman. Stockman refers to the handle style here, as well as mini Texas toothpicks. But anyway, this was an eBay find. It's very affordable. I'll tell you right off the bat here, the price was I believe $9.99 or $10.99, and it was like $3 shipping. So it was around the $15 mark with shipping included. Now, what's really cool about this one is that there are a bunch that go on eBay every now and then. It's not really a rare knife. I find that this one and the Lucky 7's green Rough Rider 6-bladed Stockman, they get a lot of airtime on eBay. A lot of different people selling them, so it shouldn't be incredibly hard to find. What really attracted me to this, though, besides being a 6-bladed Stockman, is the shield here. Now, as you can see, there's just a Bowie knife that is the shield, and it's a very nice high polished stainless. And of course, you have the high polished bolsters, and all the blades are nice and high polished. You can see all the glare and stuff in the light here. You know, nice presentation. Also with a high polished bare stainless steel blade. When you actually polish steel, you tighten the pores up, so it helps with rust resistance a little bit more. A lot of people ask me questions about specifically bead blasting, and I've mentioned this in a past video, but it's kind of hard to go through all my videos to figure this out. But bead blasting actually opens up the pores of the metal, so it's more susceptible to moisture and, of course, rust. And that's why a lot of specifically Kershaw models of knives, like the Leek, a lot of times you'll get rust spotting a lot easier than you do other knives. And that's just basically the finish. It's the combination between the steel and the finish. But anyway, that's a little off topic. This knife has a variety of blade styles as well as shapes and sizes, and I'll go over that in just a second here. But I also want to talk about the handle material. The handle material here is a dyed bone, probably a horse bone, which is very commonly used, and it's a real deep, almost like a reddish purpley brown. I mean, first appearance would just be straight brown, but it does have a little bit of a reddish purple hue to it. And you can see over here where the dye didn't quite take, which is actually really nice, where you have those kind of unique spots where it's a little bit more of a natural bone look. You can kind of pick up a little bit more in the color. But on the reverse, you see the handle a little bit better. You see towards the ends here, you have a little bit of a lighter coloration. And the actual jigging on this bone, the jig pattern, I don't know offhand, but it has kind of an antelope horn look to it, which is actually pretty nice. As far as feeling, I mean, we're not really talking about jimping and all that other crazy stuff. This is a, you know, traditional slip joint knife, but you know, so I'm not really concerned with grip and all that kind of stuff, but it's actually aesthetically pleasing to me. I think it looks nice. So let's talk about the blades a little bit here. Our main blade is the large clip point blade, and that does have some writing on it. If I can get the lighting right, I'll let that focus in here. It's hard with the glare. Oh, there we go. Of course, it says Bowie series, and it says an American legend, and it has an American flag to the right. And each one of these blades is going to be stamped with the Rough Rider logo there, the horseshoe. So very cool. But anyway, what I like about 6-blade Stockmans is it's literally 6 different knives in one little package. If you're one of those people out there that just don't know how to sharpen their knives, this is probably something you should carry, simply because you have 6 different chances to let your blade go dull. And if you manage to get all 6 of these dull for $13 or $14 shipped, buy yourself a new one if you really are not interested in sharpening knives. But don't throw out your old one. Send it to someone who can sharpen knives. But anyway, all right, let me go over the blades a little bit here. Like I said, the main blade here, and which is actually marked for this quote-unquote commemorative series knife, is a large clip point blade. Behind it here we have the large drop point. Right in front we have the small drop point, and back hiding there a little bit is the small sheepsfoot blade. On the back here we have a small spay blade, and then on the left here a small clip point. Alright, now the different blade styles and shapes do serve a purpose. They're all going to have pros and cons. But for example, the spay blade in the back here, if you look closely at it, a spay blade is kind of like a drop point, but you have an abrupt flat on the back. Now this has a lot of history in it. It used to be a farmer's design because it was used for castration of animals and neutering of different farm animals. It's very good for skinning. It's good for quick, slow slashes and that kind of a motion with your cutting. Mostly for skinning, but it's also very good as well for actually digging out a hole, like in, say, wood. If you wanted to make, for example, if you're into the survival stuff, you want to make a hearth for fire making, stuff like that. It's actually really good to for that purpose. But anyway, the clip point blades here, obviously with the cutout here on the spine, it makes for a much more acute tip. It's very good for penetration, but of course it lacks strength. The clip point blade is probably the most common blade on knives, period. Only second to, or I mean what comes in about second place would be of course, the drop point blade here. Now with the drop point you don't get as much penetration power as you do a clip point, but you do have a beefier strength up tip. Okay, so this could be used for a little bit harder cutting tasks. So it's really interesting, and there's really just countless types of blade styles and shapes out there. Again, in the back here we have the sheepsfoot blade. I mentioned in the past the difference between a sheepsfoot and a Wharncliffe blade is that a Wharncliffe has more of an abrupt finish, okay, and that is to lessen the chance of stabbing, and oftentimes used in rescue type knives for seatbelt cutting and so forth. But the sheepsfoot blade, because it resembles a sheep hoof, or hoof, however you want to say it, that's really suited for flat surface cutting. If you're doing, like, let's say carpeting, something like that, where you have to really get a fine tip in a plane, but you don't want to really puncture into something, that's really that purpose of that blade style. But anyway, let me close the blades now, because I want to talk about the fit and finish of the knife. As I've talked about in the past, Rough Rider is a fantastic company. You're really getting so much for your money. It's really very close to some of the higher end slip joint companies that people are familiar with, like Case, WR Case and Sons. I would say in late years, Case has gone downhill just a little bit in the fit and finish department. I mean, their quality control, some stuff's going out the door that I really don't think should make it out the door. But with this one, if you take a close look at the spine here, you'll see that there's a very good finish. There's just very slight gaps in the spacers here, but really for $13, like I said, this is pretty much on par with some of the $50 or $60 slip joints you're going to find out there, especially nowadays. If you look at the old 60s and 70s slip joints, some of them are just really superb, but comparing to today's standards, you're getting so much for your money. It's very nice. Another nice little touch here is the scalloping in the blades. If you look at the nail nicks, you see that pattern in there. It's kind of like a saw pattern. Just adds a nice little touch. It's a little detail, which I like. But anyway, I'm going to take a quick little pause here because I'm coming up on 10 minutes and I don't want the camera to cut out. Just a couple more things I want to say about this, and then of course I will let you go and venture into other YouTube land videos to see some other stuff. So hang on a second. Alright, I'm back. I won't hold you too long here. I pretty much got what I wanted to say about the knife. It's very cool. Of course, I love the 6-bladed Stockmans. This is the second one in my collection. The only other one I have at the moment is a Colt with the titanium nitride coated blades, which I'm not sure if I did a review on it, but if I didn't, I'll do one in the future. But anyway, overall, I think this is a fantastic bargain. Like I said, you could probably find these on eBay, all less than $20. It really depends on the auction price, but you're looking anywhere from, say, $10 to $15 shipped, which I think is fantastic. What's really cool is it's a very nice gift to give to someone as well because of the commemorative type extras you get, like the tin. It's just a nice little touch to have a display tin here. So if you're someone who likes to display your knives in different kinds of cabinets and stuff, it just makes for a nice presentation. Of course, you can put this on a shelf just like that or whatever, and it just looks nice. Now, I happen to like it with all the blades open, and I have that case which I showed you in a previous video that I got from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, which is beautiful. But also, if you're one of those people who just likes buying cool knives and storing them in, say, a safe or a drawer, it also comes with a little protective sleeve, makes stacking nice and easy, as well as putting it with other boxes, but you still get that nice presentation look. So very, very minor detail, and most people don't care about packaging with knives. And to be honest, most of the time I throw out my boxes, which I know is a big no-no for all the collectors out there. But it's a really nice touch, and something that's so affordable or cheap, however you want to look at it. It's just really cool that you get these extras. Whereas sometimes with the more expensive stuff, I mean, look at Strider knives, it comes in a Ziploc bag. Come on. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the review. I think it's a very cool knife. Like I said, if you got $20 on you, and you have an eBay account, check it out. I think it'd be very cool to pick up. As far as using the knife, I mean, take caution like any other slip joint. There's no locks on it. Oh, that's one more thing I wanted to mention real quick. I knew there's something I forgot. The blades. Again, this is something that's a little more prevalent in the more affordable or cheaper slip joints, is that the blades tension on the back springs, in other words, how hard it is to get the blades in and out, it's very random in this specific knife. For example, this small drop point blade, it's pretty stiff, but in a good way. It's not very loose, or it doesn't feel like it's something's wrong with it. It's how a slip joint should be. Another thing to mention is there are no half stops in this. It's basically one smooth action. Some slip joints have a half stop here to let you reposition your fingers so that when you close it, you're not going to cut yourself. You don't get this with this knife. Again, something that you would get in maybe a more expensive model. But anyway, like this knife right here, or this blade, is how I would expect the tension to be. But in some of the larger blades, like the large drop point, it's not as stiff and it feels a little bit flimsy. So as far as using the knife, I wouldn't be as secure in my feeling to actually use it. For me, this is just a collectible, but it's something I want to mention in case you're looking to get this knife to actually carry and use. I did find some of the blades to be just a little bit, like I said, random in the tension on the back spring. So, that's all. Just something to note in case you guys were looking to get this to actually use it and carry it and all that stuff. So, hope you guys enjoyed the review. I thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.